Awesome. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Monday night training. It's our first training back after conference. That's exciting. And it's the 24th, which is my lucky number, so it's even better. So, my name is Bridget, for those of you that don't know me. And tonight it's going to be an interactive training. So I really hope you guys have got a pen and paper around. I've had a few people in my team say they would love to work on creating their story. And I think this is really, really important. And especially since we've got this 90-day run going at the moment, for those of you that are doing it, it's really, really powerful to get clear on your story and a way that you can share it in a short, concise way that helps you feel good and has the person that you're sharing with it feel good. So I always say that your story is your superpower. It's the cool thing about this business. No one can argue with your story. No one can tell you that it's not true. They might be able to argue with you about, I don't know, some of the facts or whatever about Juice Plus or the science behind it, but no one can take away your story. So tonight I was thinking predominantly to work on the business side of the story, but you can take that same idea and create your product story with it too. And if you're here brand new or you've been here for a while, it doesn't matter. Like if you, this is the whole idea. Like, so I think a lot of us, when we're new, we feel like we don't have a story, but you don't realize how powerful your story is when you just start. Like if you look at someone like Linda or Adam Westwick, their story is not that powerful anymore because it's not relatable. Whereas if I'm, a mum, stay-at-home mum at home that doesn't want to go back to work and just needs to create like an extra 500 to 1,000 a month so I can spend more time with my kids, that's way more relatable and seems way more possible than saying I want to make 30 grand a month. So I think we really, really underestimate how powerful our story is at the beginning. Um, so a lot of you may have heard this before. I'm going to use what we call PLOT, which is an acronym. It stands for pain. So we're going to talk about where we were, what was the pain before you came into this business, why, what was that pain that made you lean in. We're going to talk about like a lesson, what was the lesson that you needed to learn, what was your enough moment. O is for opportunity, and then the T is for triumph or what you're going to look forward to. So I'm just going to just have got some notes on my computer at the same time so I don't miss anything. So just let me bring stuff up at the same time. That. Yeah, so like I said, so hopefully you've got a pen and a paper or something that you can write things down. So firstly, I just actually love everyone to pop in the chat, um, maybe one pain that you were in before you joined this business. What was there something in your life that you weren't quite getting enough of? Was it that you weren't able to take your kids out on coffee dates whenever you wanted or pay for swimming lessons? Or was it that you wanted to stay for a holiday? Whatever it was that um, was not quite up to your standard before you joined the business, or just now, if you've just started, I'd love you to pop in the comments so everyone can kind of give an idea. Sorry, I'm going to do this a lot tonight in my throat. Stress at the supermarket. Yes, Alex. Transferring money from one account to the other so you can pay, or counting, adding everything up as it's going through to make sure that you're going to be able to pay for it. I think a lot of us can understand that. Drowning with no family help and but on one income and tricky to pay for help. So true. And I think even if you do have family help, yeah, like I know, like with daycare costs and things, until your child's 3 and you can get free hours, it's so bloody expensive. Like by the time you'd gone back to work, you'd just be going back to work to pay for daycare. So I think a lot of mums can be in that situation. And let's just said that, not wanting to pay for daycare. Hang on, it's gone too fast now. I can't read it. Budget was so tight. Only have to have water group catch-ups in cafes and restaurants, just getting by. Really wanting to create a second income so I can reduce hours at work. There's also good. Not wanting to miss kids' milestones. Totally. Oh my God, my voice is terrible. And loving all these. Thank you guys. So I would love you just to um, get your pen out and paper out now and let's create your story. And I just want you to write a few of those things down, get really clear on what was your pain, what was the thing that made you lean into this, and why did it make sense for you? So I'm just going to let you have time to do this. It's going to be interactive, and I want you to be able to have a cool story at the end of it. So let's write just a few like jot points down, so then we can create like a full story. And if you need to add anything to this,
Caroline, you've
Ange,
just said, oh, can you hear me?
yeah.
Sorry, I've just seen with Caroline, your goal is to have a second income to help family more with lots of expenses and life enjoyment. Get like really specific, because if you're telling that story to someone like, I want to help, and this isn't just directed at you, Caroline, it's kind of for everyone, but if like lots of expenses is really generalized. So like think about something that's really going to resonate with the people that you want to bring on board. Like what are those expenses and life enjoyment that you want to be able to make more money for? So just getting really specific, because it's like being specific that's going to attract the people into you that you want, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm just remember we're just talking about the pain point at the moment. So like Chloe's saying you want to invest in something. So where was that pain, Chloe, that you didn't have the money to invest in something for your future? So that, yeah, just getting really clear. And Heather, I'm so glad you're here. And I know you've got a really cool product story, but I also know that now it's come around that actually you might be in a situation that you need to create an extra income as well. So now is a really, really good time to create that business side of your story too. And just remember that this is like a working document. It changes over time. Like when I first came into this, my pain was that I had a catering company that I worked crazy hours, but it was only 6 months of the year. And so the other 6 months of the year, I wasn't earning the income, and I was having to be really, really tight and save those 6 months to be able to live the other 6 months. So this was a way that I could create the extra income to enjoy my winters off and not do stupid catering jobs that I didn't want to do. And that was in the beginning, that was my pain. But then it changed over time, and it became more about being a wedding caterer, missing out on those times with my family, not having those weekends in the summer, seeing my daughter cry every time I drove off to a wedding, and realizing that my family values were now way higher, and I was just not living in line with that. And then it changed again when I got pregnant with my son, and my pain was not having to go back to work after I'd had him, not doing a catering job again with a newborn. And I had this opportunity here. So don't feel like it has to stay the same. It will evolve over time, and you'll have different parts of your story that you can bring out depending on who you talk to, which is really cool. So as we go through that, I want you now, like if you've got some few pain ideas, we're going to go over to the lesson. And so, like, what have you realized that in order to get these things, you needed to do better? For example, I needed more financial relief to reduce the stress that I was going through, to stop having to like change money when I was at the checkout account. Like, what did you learn that you needed to create to get yourself out of that pain that we're talking about? Sound like a smoker. Maybe be my new sexy voice. Okay, cool, Carolyn. And that's awesome, because that sometimes, so when you first started, you came in as a customer, and that your goal was obviously to create better health for yourself. And then, so why was the business side attractive for you when you came in here? You feel free to come off mute, anyone too, if you want to talk through any part of your story.
Well, Alex got me into the business side too. So yeah, and it is just more for lots of expenses for our family, food. I want to give up my job next year. That's my goal. So I want to do this full time, obviously. So but yeah, just just to help our family in lots of many ways. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you don't have to start, like I came in as a customer too, but when I'm thinking about my business story, I'm not starting with coming in as a customer. I'm starting with why the business part made sense to me and why that pain, wherever you were in your life, you needed that extra income, even though you've come in as a customer. Did that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Could you say something along the lines of, I didn't have funds to invest in our health and I knew something needed to change with our health. I was saving birthday money to see a nutritionist, but I couldn't even justify the cost of that. So it's kind of around the products as a customer, because that's sort of why I joined as well. But I also joined because I couldn't afford to pay for the product.
Yeah. Because so your pain was definitely still financial. And I know that like a lot of yours was too, like you said in the comments about going out with friends and not even being drinking the water at the cafe and things like that. They're like totally relatable to so many people. Or even just people just saying no, like so many mums just are sick of saying no to everything. No, I want to be able to say yes to more. I want to stop saying no to my kids all the time. Not that you want to give them everything on a silver platter, but sometimes it gets really tiring just saying no, we can't do that. Why? But why? And so saying yes to more is huge. When your coffee costs, what type of coffee do you drink? It costs $7.50.
Honestly, I got one in the weekend and I just got like, it wasn't even a huge one. It was just like a regular, and they added an extra $1 for the almond milk. And I was watching her tally it up and I was like, are you serious? $7.50. Yeah.
Mine's always $7. Like a cheap one is $6.50, and I use either almond milk or oat milk, and it's the same. It's always like, unless I get the little tiny one, but then I'm like, oh, I don't want the real coffee if I'm going out for a coffee.
It is craziness though. Like when you actually put that into perspective, it's just, that is crazy. I felt bad drinking it. I was like, this was a silly mistake.
I drink Americanos, $4.50.
I've got a good smoothie one. I took the kids out for a smoothie the other day, and it was $10 per smoothie. And I was like, I'm not paying $20 just for the kids' drink. I got them to halve it. But they still put it in the same cup, but only gave them half in each, and they only drank that anyway. So they can put them onto our smoothies. They're $5 each.
So, how are we all going with like the lesson part? And then we'll move into like the opportunity, and then we're talking about like what were the features that you saw here in the Juice Plus business that excited you? You know, like why was this an opportunity for you? Maybe you saw that.
Bridget, maybe before we jump on, if people just want to drop a few of their lessons into the chat, just so we can help anyone else that might be stuck, like, because quite often a lot of our reasons are the same for being in this business. So maybe if you can just drop a few of your lessons into the chat, like why this business made sense to you, just so we can kind of help everyone out with brainstorming. Sorry.
No, thank you. Oops. Anyone got any lessons?
Does anyone want to come off mute and brainstorm? Like, are you guys feeling stuck, or are you just not wanting to share? It's all good if you don't want to share as well, but if you're feeling stuck, like, we're here to help you. Like, there's a few people on this call, like Alex is here, Bridge is here, I'm here, Ing's here. We can all kind of help you with this. So if you want us to help you brainstorm, like, jump off mute and we can help you with it if you're feeling stuck.
So, but just to clarify though, the lesson, is that like a lesson from your before, like, or is it a lesson that you've experienced so far in the business?
No, it's from your before.
yeah, so like I realized this, and then I decided that I was going to.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Right.
kind of why it's essentially why it made sense to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Like, so why the business opportunity made sense to you.
Yeah, so like some of these, like, I guess what Alex has put in there is more like the opportunity. Like, so I've said it was a low cost, low risk way to create an extra income. That's probably like your next step. Okay, that's because Alex said, did I want life to stay the same in 5 years' time? Which is a pretty cool lesson to have. I learned that I needed to create a residual income that would go into retirement years with me to enable us to afford life. Do you know what? I just had a look because I didn't live in New Zealand when they started the whatever it's called. I can't remember, the thing, KiwiSaver. And I looked on my KiwiSaver today. And so however much I've put into it, because I don't work for anyone else, over the last 9 years. And I'm going to have $6 a week to live off when I retire. Till I'm 90. So that's really good. Awesome. Does that help you guys? I think, yeah, that was a good way to explain it, Ange, because I think maybe using the acronym sometimes can trip us up a little bit, but it's, yeah, why it made sense to you and what was the lesson that you learned. For me, it was just that my big lesson was that my priorities had changed and my values had changed, and I wanted to be that present mum. I'd be able to get an extra small coffee. Probably not by then. Probably would have gone, probably be $10 by then. That's it. We should give up coffee. Yeah, so then into the opportunity, like what are the features of Juice Plus? I know some of you put them in before, but let's just add them in again. Like what was it that made it exciting for you? Why was this opportunity something that made sense? Like some of you said, I could fit it into my busy schedule. I could earn money while I was also doing another job, do it around the kids. Yeah, maybe it was a community. What was it that attracted you to it and that really made sense for you? So what was the opportunity that you saw here? And yeah, feel free to add those into the chat as well, so we can help each other out. I love this, and community and people that had figured out the how for me. Saw these happy women on Zoom who seemed normal, making unusual amounts of money. I don't know if we ever seem normal, do we? Flexibility, doing it when I had spare moments. What were some of the things for you, Ange, that made sense? You can come off mute and share too, because then if people are watching the recording, they won't be able to read the comments too.
Oh, of course. So for me, it was a way to create an income around the kids basically. And it was a way that I didn't have to have a commute anymore. But the thing that I think really got me in was a group of like massively inspiring women and mentorship and community, because I craved this as a stay-at-home mum, and to have that guidance and also an uncapped income because from the work that I was doing, you could go into management, but those places were severely limited. And so you were always capped. So it was like this ability to create what I wanted around my kids and around life.
Yeah, awesome. Flexibility, community, similar stories to mine. Products were a no-brainer. Awesome. So you came into Shika, I'm not going to be able to say your name correctly, into the business first. Is that correct? You were a customer first?
Yep, that's right. I joined the business first through Alex. I was actually in the business a couple of years ago. And yeah, for various reasons, I had stopped altogether. And then, yeah, a few years later, Alex just popped into my inbox. And then, yep, I joined again.
Cool. Love it.
I'm enjoying a lot more this time, though, I have to say. It's the community's been really supportive, and I'm yet to have my first customer in team, but that's okay. I'm going to get there. So keeping my fingers crossed.
You will. I'm sure you will. Start sharing your story.
Yeah.
So like if some of you were at a conference, you would have heard it being said over and over again, just share your story, you can share your story every day. And the huge thing that landed for me was that imagine if this was your job and you got paid $500 a day to tell one person your story every single day. But if you didn't tell them your story or anyone your story, you got fired and you'd never get rehired again. So how differently would you treat this business, and how much more would you find someone to tell your story every day? So that was like my biggest takeaway from that. And now your story, and share in other people's stories. And when like Ange says now your story, do you know what I used to do? I used to record myself on my phone and tell my story, and then play it back, and I could see my facials, or I could hear how my voice sounded, or whatever makes you feel more confident at doing it. And it's just over and over again, and then it just becomes second nature. So yeah, practice on each other, do lives with each other, and interview each other opportunities to share the story. So yeah, totally ask people if you can practice on them. And then we come to the triumph. And I know that some of you are going to say, I don't feel like I've had a triumph in this business yet, or I've only just started, but that's totally okay. A triumph doesn't have to be something that you've achieved so far. It could be what you're looking forward to in the future. It could be like, your triumph could be like what you're wanting to celebrate, or what you're going to accomplish, or what you're excited about. It doesn't have to be something that you've already accomplished. So it could be, of course, it could be like, okay, this is what I've managed to achieve, or this is what I'm looking to achieve. So think of it either way, depending on how long you've been in the business. And the triumph can be really, really small. It doesn't have to be something huge. It doesn't have to be I've bought a new house or a car or whatever, It just has to be something that is meaningful to you and makes sense to you. And honestly, like I said at the beginning, when your story at the beginning is a lot more powerful. Same with the triumph, because I think people can relate to smaller wins than they can to a big win. Like how many, like Shani and Loz sharing their incredible story about how they've, bought houses and creating things in Bali. That's incredible, but it's also quite unrelatable at some stage, because it's kind of like, wow, that's huge, but I'm not sure if I can quite do that. But creating some extra money so I can pay for my groceries every time I go to the supermarket is a lot more relatable to somebody. So don't get caught up in the, oh, I haven't got this huge, incredible story yet, because it's not true. Yeah, and that's right. And hope is so important. So yeah, as you're busy writing, if you have a sec, write down what you feel like is a triumph for you as well in the chat. I can share some of them.
I think as well, guys, just remembering that it's not necessarily always financial as well. Like people are so lonely and lacking connection at the moment as well. And like we have such a beautiful vehicle for that. And also lacking like leadership and mentorship and positivity in their lives as well. So we've got such a beautiful vehicle for that as well. So just remembering it's not always financial that people are looking for.
Yeah, real good point. And like, I don't think Jackie's on here tonight, but the first time she leaned into this business, she leaned into it for the personal development because that was something that she was really lacking in her life, and that's what attracted her to this business. And that's that would have been her triumph of growing herself and getting what she got out of the personal development. So you're right, it doesn't have to be financial at all. So Ing says, when I was a single mum, this was my money, all my income went to the bills and the food. So this was my organic food fund. Nice. So I could get my hair done, buy new clothes if I needed. Also the community in the lonely evenings at home when my son was sleeping was life-saving. Yeah. I think for those of you that were here through COVID times, I don't know if I would have got through those times without this business and that community. So then the whole idea is when you've got all those PowerPoints down, is then to be able to put it into a story, so just tie all together, like so like for example, if we start with the pain, like I can kind of share like I was, when I first lent into this, I was working in a catering company, really, really busy summers, working crazy hours, but it was only a 6-month-a-year job. And over the winter, I didn't have an income coming in. I could either take really small jobs that were a lot of work for not much money, or I could not work at all. And so I saw this as a way to be able to get me out of that situation and have that extra money over the winter. Yeah, so that's kind of like the pain and my lesson in the same time, all together, everything. So yeah, but obviously when I looked into this, thing that attracted it to me the most was that being a busy caterer and not having any time, that was my biggest problem. And I saw that this was a business in the box and I could do it in and around my family life and my business. And then what it gave me in the end was being able to take my winters off catering and spend time with my daughter that I was missing out on in the summer. So that's my first story before it came into where it is now. So there's so many different parts to it, but it's just kind of tying it all together, making it, a pain that's relatable to somebody, going through the lesson opportunity and ending with how it's worked out for you. I really should have written my story down before this training. I love that, Nadia. The business helped me develop my growth mindset and not live in fear or scarcity. Yeah. So much. I didn't even know what personal development was before I came across this business. So yeah, I've grown so much as a person. Yeah, we're so lucky. I feel like the amount of money I would have paid in personal development courses if I was going to do it was like ridiculous. Does anyone want to be brave and just kind of share a mumbled version of what they've written down? Doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to pick on you, Alex. Only because you're like right there, just on the left.
Mumbled version. It probably will be like I just feel like
or
my
just
brain
like mine.
is a little bit pushed tonight.
Unspotlight myself.
Oh, you're just a bit mean picking on me. Oh, now I have to like put it together. You're so mean.
Hey, well, you just heard mine.
I thought you sounded amazing. I was enthralled. I loved it. So I guess my first part I would say something along the lines of yeah, before this business came along, like I used to feel really stressed out at the supermarket. I'd be putting their groceries on the conveyor belt and I would be worried that I was going to go like a few dollars over, and I hated that stress feeling like I couldn't have, I didn't have enough to pay for the groceries. I really didn't want to go back to teaching, which is what I did before I had the kids. I needed to find a way to be able to be at home with my babies because they were only really little at the time. Sorry, my notes are really scribbly. I really wanted to be a present mum. I didn't want to put my kids in daycare, and I knew that life was not going to change unless I found a way to do life differently. Like it worried me that life was going to be the same in 5 years' time, like at that point. So when I took a closer look at this opportunity, I could see a really low risk and a low cost way to be able to change our situation. I could see that it was a way to bring in some extra income around family life, that I'd be able to keep homeschooling. And yeah, it was a way that I could help other people while also helping our bank account. And yeah, something that has been huge for us as a family is that I haven't needed to go back to full-time teaching. I've been able to stay at home with our kids. I've been able to homeschool. And yeah, I'm just really excited to be able to pass on this gift to other mamas out there who are looking for a way to earn an income around their busy family life. That was quite a long version.
Yeah, but it's awesome.
Probably not the elevator version, that one, but yeah.
The elevator version depends if you get stuck or not.
It was not the 30-second elevator version.
But you can see how then, like, I love this because you should think, well, Alex, you should have your story pretty down patched by now.
I think when you put it in note form like that, it just makes you really. It's good though, because you can actually pluck out stuff like this for your social media for sure, and just give it a little bit of a different spin, because it makes you kind of reassess how you felt when you did start.
Yeah, and like Linda says, you should always have like the 30-second version, the 1-minute version, and the 5-minute version, depending on who you're talking to, where you are and what you need to share. So it's good to have lots of different versions of it. Does anyone else want to be brave and share theirs? It's really helpful for everyone, I think, to see and hear other people's stories. God, you guys are so. I'm just going to pick on someone if someone doesn't come off mute. Lacey, you want to share?
Can you go away? Stop. What are we sharing? Like the whole thing?
Maybe just to kind of put it together. So, and if you don't feel like you can put it together, maybe just share a bullet point from each part.
Yeah. Product, I mean, business wise, it was just more so being able to, just have the money to just pay for the product, because I knew that the product was helping me through like just mentally, physically wanting to be better, eat better. Yeah, that's originally how I looked at the business.
Yeah.
But now it's just more having just a little bit of extra money just to, spend the day on the train with my son, or some gas to get to places.
Yeah, helpful.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess just a spare income.
Yeah. You okay? And why do you feel like it made sense to you?
I think because it's not, it's not and like you're not capped to a certain point. Kind of like the world is your oyster. You put all your effort into it, you'll get what you put in. Whereas at a normal job or whatever, you put so much in and you get nothing back. So
Yeah, totally. And you can prove to your son that you can do hard things, no?
yeah,
Such a cool
doesn't
little
have to
boy.
it doesn't have to be hard all the time.
Yeah. You're going to create an amazing story. You're such a beautiful girl. I love seeing you shine at conference and dance on the chairs and really, really take it all in. So just know that we're here supporting you, holding you.
Yeah,
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 and
it's
you're
just
gonna
been hard being back because you just um let specific people tell you otherwise.
yeah, you just got to crowd out that noise and lean into
Yeah,
people here that are supporting you.
yeah. hmm
Because at the end of the day, those people aren't going to turn around and pay your bills, are they?
No,
You need to
sorry, I
read the
didn't.
chat because you've got so many beautiful comments in there. Thank you for being so brave and so raw and real. And we all feel you here, and you're going to have such an incredible triumph to the end of the story. I know you
Thanks, everyone.
Go and read the comments.
Yeah,
Thanks, Han.
I'll just cry some more.
Good. Crying's good. Anyone else want to be brave? I promise. Yeah, tears are totally welcome here.
I can share my story if you want me to,
Okay.
because I feel like my story has like two parts. Because like um when I initially started, I was like a stay-at-home mum, and the work from home, going back to work discussion was approaching. So I was like frantically like started bookkeeping, and it was really boring. And I was just like, what can I do? So when I came across this, I was like, yeah, this makes so much sense. I'm like from business background. So my initial story, then I just looked into the business. I was like, quick return on investment. I want to take these products for the rest of my life, no matter what. And if I would rather be the one who is earning money from it than anyone else, with my business hat on. And then I could totally see right away how I could help other people feel amazing on something like this. I've always been an advocate for natural health, and yeah, it just really made sense. So um yeah, for me, it was like looking into like the actual compensation plan. Like I'm one of those people looking into the actual research around the products and stuff like that. So, but the community and the mentorship was something that really landed with me. Maybe a few weeks in when I went to training, I really got um, amazed by the quality of leadership. I come from corporate. I'm used to being mentored by like old white men that have no interest in my personal life. They just want me to make their business more money. So I was like, wow, these people are not earning any money on me, but they still want help me become better at this business and at becoming a better person. So that really just, I guess, really widened the opportunity for me and made me feel like it was a place that I could feel like home. And then 6 months into my journey was when I became a single mom and I had to return to full-time work. And I can just completely see why God placed this in front of me 6 months before that. And my story then became, I need an extra income around being a single mom. And I had to peel my son off me at daycare every day for 18 months. So I was like wanting to work my way back home. But the biggest triumph for me, even though I have had like the part-time income as working full-time, was, like I said before, life-saving around being able to have extra money and being able to pay the food bills every week. But the personal development, the person, and I this is something that I say many times, because when I first started and I watched the Zooms where people were saying, "Oh, it's the person I've become," I would be like, "It's the money you've made, come on." And then like 4 years in, I'm like, okay, now I'm that person, but it's the person I've become through this. The life I have now is a result of the person I grew to become. So, someone like Lacey, or or you're in a situation in your life where you're just like, nothing feels very good. Just the person that you become through leaning into the growth in this space is just, yeah, that's just been the absolute biggest triumph and what I can't, if someone comes in and does a little or a lot, if they lean into the personal development, you just know they're going to get so much out of it.
Thank you. So good. And I think, yeah, like I was saying, there's so many, like you could take so many ways for everyone's story. Like I was just me knowing you, Ing, I was just thinking, oh, like a really cool part of your story could be, like you had this beautiful baby and then you got pregnant quite soon again after you'd had the baby. If that had been in a normal situation, you wouldn't have got a second maternity leave because you wouldn't have gone back to work for long enough to get that maternity leave, but you had the ability to earn income from home and still keep that going through that, full on time in your life. So I think,
Yes.
that's another part that's amazing. Not
Yeah, like every month through the, having one baby and being pregnant with another, like I was always receiving an income. Like I've maintained like a qualified business through that, and that's been massive for our family. Absolutely.
Awesome. So I hope that's been helpful for you guys. Does anyone have any questions around how to kind of tie it up in a little bow, or I don't know, I think, Ange, do you have anything else you want to add there?
Not much. I think it's just this kind of shows how powerful it is to like go back and revisit your story and really nail it, and have, like Bridge said, like, you've got a quick version and then probably a longer version as well. Because your story, as anyone that was at conference heard, it is so powerful, and it's probably one of your best business tools, and learning how to tell it in different ways, and not just telling it from the pain perspective, but telling it from the like exciting side of it as well. So for example, like if your pain is that, you're run down, burnt out, and just had enough with work and corporate and the commute and all the things, then the other flip side of that is, you wanted that vibrancy, you wanted that excitement, and you could see this group of women that were lit up and excited and passionate about what they were doing, and you wanted to be a part of that. You wanted to be at that table. So telling it from that perspective as well. So learning to tell your stories, not just from the pain, but also from the pleasure, I guess, as well. But I think this kind of just definitely brings on board how powerful it is to like practice your story and really nail it. So if you guys want help with it as well and like extra brainstorming and stuff, just reach out and let us know to try and nail it, because I know it is sometimes really intimidating coming into a group when you're not quite sure to share that story. So yeah, we can help you kind of round it out and stuff.
Yeah, awesome. And I would just say, I know it's hard to do it all in one night, so I really encourage you to finish this over the next couple of days, get really clear on it, and then my challenge for you is to share it with someone else in this, in our wider team or whatever, to say, hey, can I share you my story, or record it on your phone and send it to them and say, what do you think? That's my little exercise for you over the next week. But I know it's 9 o'clock, so momentum training is starting. And I know that for those of you that, some of you follow NHC, but if you follow the Vitality Hub, I know Adam's got something really cool tonight. We're launching something new at the end of that. And yeah, it will be really a lot of information around the 90-day run and how to make the most of it. Hopefully see you there. If not, see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.